Hello, everybody. We are back again, and we are continuing our conversation about music supervision. Miss Cassandra is here with me as always. Hey, Cassandra.
Hi, Jeanné.
How's it going?
Good, good. How are you?
Doing good. So, we are going to introduce our guest. Getting into this whole guest thing. This is great. And our guest today is Miss Lexi Jackson. Welcome, Lexi, to the program.
Hi.
We're really happy to have you here to talk about music supervision, to talk about how you got into the music industry, all that good stuff.
Okay.
So, Lexi, talk to us about how you even got into music, I
Ooh,
guess.
all right. How much time do we have? Well, let's see. I would say that I started my journey in music mainly due to the different genres and the different artists that I got access to, really. Through my parents. They listened to a lot of different types of music, and it really just inspired me and impacted me because not only did my parents listen to music, then I had siblings who played instruments because I was the youngest at the time. And so just experiencing those different influences was really cool and really influenced me to then play instruments myself. So I had been singing my whole life and all sorts of, choirs at church and um, in the car, in the shower, as most people do.
Right?
And then that passion for music really stemmed into, like I said, the instrumental side of me, where I started playing trumpet. Actually, trumpet was the first instrument that I played back in elementary school. I played it all through elementary, middle, high school, then played it in college in different bands and marching bands and concert bands and all that stuff. But then aside from trumpet, I started to teach myself guitar
Nice.
my junior year of high school. And just before I started teaching myself guitar, I had to learn alto sax, which was super random. I had to learn that because at the time, the band director basically said to us, okay, we have far too many trumpets in this concert band. Like, why? We're not a marching band. Why do we have 15 trumpets? Some of y'all got to learn something else.
Wow.
And I mentioned, yeah, I mentioned my siblings, playing instruments. My oldest sister, she played trumpet. And so that's kind of what led me to play trumpet. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Then my next oldest sister played saxophone. So I was like, okay, I'll do that.
Wow.
So I was learning these two polarizing instruments, and then I threw guitar into the mix because I just really wanted to learn it. And I was going to be taking guitar class prior. Back up. I started teaching myself in the summer of my junior year, and then I knew that I was going to be taking guitar class during my junior year, and I just couldn't wait. So I was like, I found some janky oh my gosh, it might have been like some like Goodwill guitar from somewhere, and it barely worked. But I was like, I just want to learn some stuff.
Mm.
So good old YouTube University brought me through until my mom took me out and was like, okay, no, if you're gonna be like in class, you need to you need an actual guitar. And it worked out because I'm a lefty, and my school didn't have any lefty guitars.
Aha.
So, and considering I had started teaching myself already the summer before, my teacher was pretty much was like, okay, sure, you can either bring your own guitar every day, or you can relearn the right-handed way.
Oh.
Oh, wow. So I was like, all right, because I guess they just didn't have a way to get a lefty. I don't know. But I never questioned it, honestly. I think in his mind, it was more of a joke because he knew I was going to just go ahead and bring my guitar every day. But also, he used to tease me sometimes, he was a really cool dude. Like, all the music teachers at my school were really cool. But that kind of led me onto my guitar journey. And then I started learning piano because I started writing songs, and understanding piano and the music theory of it all really helped when it came to writing. and then having the experience with the other instruments really just kind of helped to kind of build up the sounds that I was trying to create from the ones in my head. So yeah, that's kind of where I got into music as a whole, I guess. But then with music supervision specifically, and for, I'm not sure whoever's listening, for those of you who do or don't know, music supervision is a field where you are marrying music to picture in the form of like films and television and video games and ads and stuff like that. So I got into the field of music supervision because I wanted to be able to marry the music that exists in the world with the picture in the form of films and television, video games and ads and stuff that also exists in the world. That is a very um, niche field, and I found it and I ran with it. I knew I wanted to do it, and I did literally everything I could to enter the space. Yeah, that is the long and short of it all.
Can I first of all just acknowledge, wow, multi-instrumentalist. Bravo. That is
Yeah.
amazing, especially.
With varying proficiencies, I will say.
No, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm impressed. I mean, I only played the flute in high school and really badly. Um,
Flute's hard.
Cassandra is a drummer, actually.
Yo, that's sick.
I am. Yep. And like you, Lexi, I started out in middle school band.
Love that. That
Yeah.
would have been, if I wasn't so heavily influenced by my siblings in terms of my instrument choice, percussion would have absolutely been my choice. It was
Awesome.
definitely, and I would always catch myself like watching the drummers and seeing what they were doing. I was like, oh man, I should have done that.
Well,
Yeah.
I tried to learn guitar. In high school, I always wanted to learn guitar and I just couldn't. I could never get the hang of it. So, kudos to you for playing guitar and trumpet. It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
That is great. And so, and Cassandra, just jump in here anytime, but how did you even know what music supervision was to know that you wanted to do it?
That is a great question. Okay, so I'm sure a lot of people have seen Grey's Anatomy. It is a ongoing beauty. Um, I am not caught up though, not gonna lie. So no spoilers, please. Um, but only the last season though. It's okay. I'm not like deep in the hole of not caught up. But I will say, for those of you who have seen it and for those of you who have not, the music in the show is fantastic. It is so well thought out, so well done, so well placed, and it's something that you can't get away from. And I was actually during an off season of the show, I was just really craving Grey's content, and I was like, man, like why is it not on right now? So I went on demand at the time, and I found some random on demand special about Grey's Anatomy, specifically about the music in Grey's Anatomy.
Oh.
And I'm like, wait a minute. This whole thing is about just the, oh, I have to watch this right now. So I, got my popcorn, sat down, said, all right, I'm doing this. I watched it. And it was actually featuring Alex Patsavas, the supervisor of that show.
Mhm.
And she, went into detail about all the different facets of how the music gets chosen, and it just completely blew my mind because I'm like, oh my God, yes, this is it. This is what I want to do. Like whatever she's doing, however, I don't know how to do it, but I'm gonna figure it out. And
Wow.
at the time, I had graduated from college, my undergrad, with a degree in sociology. So not music related at all. And I just kind of was like, yeah, I want to do that. And then so a year or so later, after I kind of saw that and realized that, I pretty much, whatever job I was doing at the time, I quit. I said, no, 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 I need to do this. I need to figure out how to do it. And so I'm looking and I'm like, okay, well, I need to learn, you know? So I start looking into internships. And I ran into the problem of there were no internships that I could find, at least, that were not for school credit. So that led me down the path of, okay, where can I get some school to get that credit so I can get an internship? Taking a few steps backwards to move forwards type thing.
Wow.
And so I then looked into different schools and different programs, and I landed on a music production and audio technology certificate program at a local community college. So I'm like, okay, yeah, this is perfect. There's a music business class within the program. There is a internship requirement within the program as well. Sounds good to me. So and with, like I said, with my interest in music and writing songs and all that stuff, I felt like what better way to kind of merge the two things that I want to do, which is learn how to better produce and create the music that's in my head, but also give me something to help me move forward so that I can then, access the opportunities that I want to enter into. So yeah, hopefully that answers your
Wow.
question.
Yeah, oh yeah, that is amazing actually. I mean, how many people can say that they were watching television and found their career?
Ooh, when you put it that way, that's pretty dope.
Okay, so then you went through that program, and at what point did the sync school come into play?
Okay, so at this point, I had finished my program. And I think I want to say the best way to kind of explain how the sync school came into fruition for me would be to explain how John and I met in the first place.
Okay.
So basically, in my quest for knowledge, at the time I had finished my program and I'm at the internship mentorship stage of my search. So, like I said, I had to go backwards to go forward a little bit. So now I'm in the forwards part that I tried to start at before.
Okay.
And so I'm looking for any type of opportunity I can get my hands on to just learn. I want to be a sponge. I want to be under someone who I can learn from, understand the business from, anything. And this is also around pandemic time. So opportunities were a lot harder to come by at the beginning. And so at this point, I decided, you know what, okay, I'm just going to read books and do research and, learn that way. And so part of that learning came from podcasts. And the Sync Center has a podcast, and I stumbled across it, and it was and my biggest difficulty at the time was finding music podcasts that were specific to music supervision, because I mentioned before it's a very niche topic.
Yeah.
So trying to find good information amongst all these different like music podcasts at the time, at least from what I understood, music supervision wasn't that flashy and out there as much as it is now. um,
Yeah, yeah.
and so I found the Sync Center's podcast, and I'm listening to it, and at this point I've already like taught myself a few things, learned a few things along the way, and for whatever reason everything that he was saying in that podcast was just clicking, like it was just
Mhm.
all making sense. I'm like, you're speaking how I think right now, sir. I need to meet you. Like me talking to my laptop's podcast playing. Like I was like,
Right.
hold up. So I go digging. I feel like this is foreshadowing proof that I am good on the investigative side of music
Mhm.
supervision, because I definitely went digging into the show details and like finding the website to finding him to finding a way to contact him. um, and I basically reached out and I said, hey, this is my background, this is what I'm interested in doing, I found you because of this, and I would love to, see if I can help you in any way. Is there, can I shadow what you're doing? Whatever it is that you don't want to do, I'll help you out with doing. or whatever. I don't know that I said that in the email, but that was the general gist and the
Right.
vibe of what I was getting across. So he reaches back out. He says, hey, I really appreciate your approach, and I think that you are clearly passionate. Explain a little bit about what you know, just so he can kind of gauge where I'm at. And I told him what I understood about the subject. I told him what I already knew and what I didn't know, and what I would be more interested in learning, but also just really expressing how much of an asset I felt as though I could be. Um, Not necessarily, what can you do for me, more like what I can do for you type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we scheduled some time to meet because this was over the phone. First, it was an email. The email led to a phone call. Then we scheduled a Zoom so that we could actually, meet a little bit more, and just kind of went from there. And then it just became a bit of an internship, and then internship turned into a job. And yeah, so with that whole uh, odyssey of a journey that I took to just meet him, through working together, we created the Sync School. Basically, because of everything that I just mentioned, how finding information on the subject and learning on your own can be tough, and learning on your own can also be detrimental to your growth, because you may not necessarily be learning the best information or the best ways to do things, or the right ways to do things in some senses, like, so being able to have a specific thing that you can go to say, like, okay, I want to learn this course, this group is learning and teaching this, let me go there. It was really important to me to be able to create that space that I felt like I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
when I was, first starting out. And so we geared it a lot to students and to people who were early in their careers, or even in career changes, shifting their career from one thing to another. Because I felt as though that was a really big and important demographic to hit, because I, again, found myself in that predicament as well. Like I said, I got my degree in sociology, not music at all. I was working a sales job before I quit that and started, figuring my life out. So, yeah, I think that it really just came about at a really great time. And John and I were, pretty in, oh God, I was going to say in sync.
Oh, that
Uh,
would have been funny. Oh, we might have to
Oh
keep that.
no. No, I couldn't let myself do it. We can keep all this
Oh.
in. I just want the people to know. I heard it before I said it. I couldn't let myself do it. But yeah, we were very much in step with one another. And
Okay.
I felt as though that really helped to kind of create something that has gone on. Like, I really am proud of the work that we did together.
And you should be. And I feel like this is kind of what we're trying to do, Cassandra, as well, like creating something that you need and creating it for the masses. Because it's like, well, if I need it, doesn't everybody else maybe need it?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
but yeah, creating a whole school, Lexi, that's pretty amazing. And I ended up finding you and John because of your help desk. Can you talk a little bit about the
Yeah.
help desk and how that came to be, and where it falls in this
Yeah.
whole journey? Because that's
Absolutely.
how I found you, and I know that's how a lot of other people found you, and we are all so
Mhm.
appreciative of you doing that.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man. So, well, like I said, when I first started working with John, we were just trying to figure out, great practices to be able to accomplish the same things that he was doing, but also implement some of the things that I thought would be beneficial to the team. And we kind of came up with this concept of, all right, like, what if we do, like video episodes kind of explaining some of the stuff that we talk about on the podcast, especially considering, like I said, like that's how I found him. And it was really cool because John really wanted it to be a, student teacher type vibe, with obviously me being the student, and that was how I learned. And you brought up a really, really great point, Jeanné, when you mentioned the fact that your program here is helping to, expand to the masses because of the fact that you're thinking, if I'm thinking these things, if I'm having these questions, I can't be the only one. I will 1000% agree with that, because as a result of doing those help desk episodes on YouTube, I felt so seen. And also, I was so grateful to have been given the opportunity to help others, because I felt like I didn't know just how many people were having the same questions and the same thoughts as I was.
Mm-hmm,
I didn't
mm-hmm.
necessarily think it was just me, but I think being on that type of a platform really forced me to realize, like, oh, there are real people here that you're actually helping. That there are
Right.
real people who are experiencing similar situations as you are. And I, in a way, was able to be that help that I didn't have, but I was doing it myself. Like, it was a very, very cool thing to experience, and I'm super grateful for it. But yeah, and then I also just being able to like read the comments and responding to everyone and letting them know, you know, yeah, I am here to help. Like, that's what we're here for. The help desk title, actually, that was all me. And it turned into
Yeah.
such a cool idea, because it really did wind up helping people. Like, I was just thinking of it as, where here we are trying to teach people things, and we're trying to give people the aid and the help that they need. Okay. I was like, well, when you call somebody to, like, because I used to say to myself, whenever I get really frustrated about like whatever I was trying to learn, like by researching on Google or reading or whatever, I'm like, oh man, I wish I could just call somebody. Like, if I could just call,
Mm-hmm.
like, because I'm such a personable person. When it comes to
Right.
me understanding something, I will understand 1,000% more if it's a person explaining it to me. Yes, I have like reading comprehension skills, but it doesn't compare to me just being able to talk one-on-one with a person, whether that be virtual or otherwise. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
yeah, so that kind of just turns this whole idea of, okay, let's create this video series where we're helping people and we're teaching them, like, the help desk just felt right.
Excellent, excellent. And Cassandra, I don't know if you had a chance to look at any of the episodes of the help desk at all.
I have not, but I definitely will check them out. It sounds very useful.
Yeah, yeah, I would definitely recommend doing that, and of course, telling your clients about it as
Yep.
well. And that again is how I actually discovered. Well, first of all, I met Lexi, and then went to the sync school and met John. And I went because I am trying to get my music into TV, film, advertising, and I wanted to be able to see things from the side of the music supervisor to see what it is that they were going through, how to best help them, and all of that. And it was a really eye-opening experience.
Great. Yeah, it sounds very useful.
It was, and it was a lot of fun, like we talked about with John. It was a lot of fun, and I know, Lexi, you have talked about this before, the fact that, the project makes you really, I think, have a greater appreciation for the job of the music supervisor, because we all came to that project in the end and had such different music put into those scenes, and it changed the mood, it changed the scene, it changed everything, and I thought everybody did a great job, but it's really interesting to see how that works.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
It's also really cool how sometimes when you see a song in a show or in a film, and then all of a sudden, maybe it's not even a song that you previously liked very much, but then when you see
Mm.
it with that visual and something just
Mhm.
clicks, and
Mhm.
you have a whole new view of the song.
Whole new perspective.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I agree 1,000%. It's powerful, man. It's really
Yes,
cool.
and it's so that's great, that's a great point,
Yeah.
Cassandra. I was really just thinking of it as the scene side, but you're right, it
Yeah.
changes your perspective of the
Mhm.
song too.
Not to mention, it can change the notoriety of the song, because there can be people who have never heard the song before, but then it gets popular in a show. or on an app, for example. This has happened so many times with TikTok,
Yes.
you know, or like older songs. It's a great way to revive songs.
Right.
If it's been a while since it's been promoted, or if it's just an older song, it can really like explode because of its use in something,
Mm.
which is again powerful. That's a whole other
A-
department of
absolutely.
things.
Yes, breathing new life into an old
Yeah.
song,
Like
right?
the Kate Bush song that was used in Stranger
Yep.
Things recently, and then it just shot back up to the top of the charts, and great for her. Lots of
Yep.
royalties coming in. Everyone was streaming
Oh
it, so
yeah.
it's really cool how that happens.
Very, very. So you learned a ton, obviously, from John. What would you recommend people do that are potentially interested in becoming a music supervisor, or they may not even know that that's what they want to do? They just
Hmm.
want to kind of explore. Would you recommend they join the sync school for the intensive?
Yeah, I absolutely would. So, for the people who are just starting out and wanting to enter the field, want to learn a little bit more about it, but they're pretty sure that they want to do it, I would definitely suggest the Sync School as an option, because you will definitely learn a lot and you'll build your community while you do it. You'll be alongside people who are learning with you, who are in similar positions as you, and who are working towards the same things. So you'll be able to share opportunities with one another and really build those relationships, which is so, 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 so important. Building relationships is huge. Now, for the people who are not really sure and they are just looking to learn about what the field is in itself, I would still suggest the sync school, because you will learn for sure. The first day is literally a crash course in the field itself, and it will definitely carry you through if you are just wanting to learn about it. It is a full, I can't even begin to express the level of depth that it goes into without it being like overly confusing. I think that the program itself does a really good job of spreading the content out so that even people who are just starting out are still able to understand what's going on and have the space to ask questions and, like I said, learn alongside everyone else in the course. So yeah, I would definitely suggest the sync school to whoever is interested.
Yeah, and I can attest to everything that you just said. It is a lot of information, but I don't think it's overwhelming. It's intensive because it's only 5 days, and we're together for, was it like 2 to 3 hours, and then you have homework. So
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, so I would say overall plan for about 4 hours a day, meaning about 2 to 3 hours of instruction. It's designed to be 2, but there are questions and we want to make time for people, but overall it's about 2 hours for instruction and 2 hours for homework time. And obviously the homework doesn't need to be done like right after. Obviously it's good if you do because the information is still fresh, but we share projects from the homework, or go over what the homework was the following day. So if it's something that you have a question on or that you're confused about, you can always reach out either to the people in the group or John and Dylan, and just kind of see how they can help you outside of the class as well.
cool, very cool. Cassandra, any questions?
No, I mean, I think Lexi, you've given some really great information, and it's also really inspiring. I love to hear stories like yours where you kind of set your mind to this is what you wanted to do as a career, and you found a way to make it happen. So for anyone out there that's listening that has a dream of what they want to do, I think it's very inspiring, and there's
Thank you.
obviously a lot of work that went into it, and so it's great for people to hear.
Agreed.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I need that reminder sometimes, because even now, I'm still feeling like, okay, I'm still working towards things. It's easy sometimes when you're on this grind of constantly learning, constantly, moving forward towards things. It's easy to forget to appreciate, the tiny victories or the journey along the way.
Hmm.
Um, And I am good about that with some things, but then other things, that can fall to the wayside. So thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it.
And so your journey is certainly not over, and you've gone from the sync school to a new position. And is there anything you can say about what you're doing now?
Yeah. So a couple months ago, was awarded and I accepted a awesome position with ESPN as a music licensing assistant. So that has been really, really cool to get into. I am just really enjoying the work and enjoying the challenge. It's always a fun time to try something new. But this has really been a cool outlet for me because I'll say, in the first week, I'd say, really in the first day, I realized just how, I guess I kind of had like how I was mentioning to Cassandra earlier, taking a moment to, pat yourself on the back a little bit. I realized after that first day of this new role that I actually knew some stuff. I was like,
Aha.
oh, I it kind of hit me like, oh, I guess I have learned, because I realized how much I didn't necessarily have to be taught in the way that I was probably thinking I would have because I wasn't giving myself the credit.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm always looking to grow, and I think that ESPN is a great place to do that. So I'm excited to keep it going.
And we are
Awesome.
excited for you. And
Congratulations.
Thank
congratulations.
you. I appreciate it.
Do you have anything that, any personal stuff that you're like, "Oh, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that."
I am with the social media things. I am on all the platforms you can think of. I can send you links where I can be found. Yes, for
Yes,
sure.
please. We will absolutely put in the notes where people can connect with you.
I don't mind mentioning though that I haven't, I especially don't mind because I haven't really talked about it much. So this is kind of like the first time I'm bringing it up in a public-y forum. So I'm working on a new project. I'm working on an album actually, which is
Yay.
super
Awesome.
exciting. I have only done EPs so far, so this is going to be my first like full length situation. I'm in the
Wow.
very early stages. I only have a couple songs written, and I just started kind of like playing around with recording it because amongst this whole creative journey I've been on, I also relocated. Um, so
Yes.
that definitely had to take precedent. But the knowledge and the thought that I was going to be creating a lot more once I got to my space was definitely a great motivator to get everything done that needed to get done because relocating is a whole thing.
Yes, it
And I had
is.
never lived anywhere else, so it was a really big deal. But yeah, I'm super excited to be creating again. And I'm really, really excited to share whatever comes out whenever it comes out. But I'll definitely be sure to let y'all know.
Yes, please do.
Yes.
And so, yeah, we definitely need all the socials so that people can connect with you and we can keep up with you. You are a mover and shaker, Lexi.
Thank you. I try. I try.
And I know, speaking with John last week, we know he's so proud of you. And
Oh,
your accomplishments have just been amazing. So, where there's a will, there's a way. Like Cassandra said,
Yeah.
it's if you want to get it done, you're going to get it done. It might take a while.
yeah. Patience is definitely key. You got to be
Hmm.
patient with yourself for sure. Like,
Hmm.
it's everybody's on their own journey, and you just got to ride with yours,
That's
like,
right.
and
Yep.
enjoy people's accomplishments along the way.
Yeah. And don't compare yourself to other people, right? Because
Oh, yeah, for sure.
they're on a total different path.
Mm hmm.
Yep.
Mm hmm. Amen to that for sure.
And don't forget to take the time to pat yourself on the back, because
Yes.
it
Yes.
really,
Thank you, Cassandra.
like you said, it's easy to just get caught up in everything, but
Mm hmm.
it really is such a big accomplishment to set your mind on something and then to actually make it happen. That is something you should be very proud of.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I gotta blink like 20 times every day just to remember that this is real. So I appreciate that a lot.
This has been a lot of fun. I thank you so much for agreeing to come on and speak with us.
Oh my gosh, yes. Thank you so much for asking and for even doing this. Like, this is a really, really cool, like, everything that you have here. I've never used this program. I've never, like, I feel like I'm living the dream right now. Thank you so much, Cassandra, to you as well. I really appreciate you being here, and hopefully I was able to be of some entertainment for you, and to also for you to learn. I hope it was beneficial for you as well.
Yes, definitely. Yours was very, very helpful and interesting. And so thank you so much.
For sure.